Okay, today I want to talk about state changes, what they are, how to create a state change, and why you want to create a state change. So let's just get right into it. What am I talking about when I say creating a state change? Now, what this means is that whatever a state is, a way of being, like an energy that I'm in right now, meaning like if I am feeling alone, I'm in a certain vibration, my vibrational state is right here. Well, or if I'm not a confident person, I don't feel confident, especially when I'm in certain situations, my confidence goes down. So that's a state. So it could be a happy state, a learning state, a confident state, a loving state, an intimate state, a vulnerable state. That's what we're talking about when we talk about states. Now, why do we want to have a state change? And we want to have this because sometimes when you're not feeling very confident, but you need to feel confident because you're going into an interview, how do you create a very rapid change where I can change how I'm actually feeling to feeling a different thing? Now, this is different than fake it till you make it. It's different than like pretending. What it's actually doing is changing your frequency because you're remembering within yourself a time that you did feel confident and that you were confident, and you're bringing that muscle memory back, and you're creating a situation or you're creating that state again in your life right now. You can see why it would be super helpful, especially learning state. Okay, I went to a NLP, human interaction technology training, and in the training it is it's all about this type of stuff, and he'll put you into trance, where you go into trance. Now, trance is when you're just like kind of zoned out. When you're driving, you're probably in trance. You know, when you drive and you don't remember how you got there because you've been there a lot of times, and so you're going on autopilot, and you're just kind of like in this other state, this in-between state. And this trance state is sometimes a learning state too. So as we were in the training, you get into this learning state and you're just so like focused on what he's saying. He'll say, okay, now take muscle memory of this. Now remember how it feels like to be in learning state, like where you're absorbing everything, you're taking everything in, it's being recorded. You don't have to write it down, it's just being recorded in your mind. And so for me, that is like, I kind of look like I'm zoning out a bit. And in fact, I was on a date the other day and he was telling me something very interesting, like going over the Wim Hof experience, like going into details, technical details, and I'm go into learning state automatically, and I kind of zone out. And he's like, you look super bored, like, do I need to stop? Do you hate this? And I'm like, no, I'm in learning state. I'm absorbing everything that you're actually telling me, so keep going, like, this is awesome. So that is the idea about, that's my learning state and how it looks. But this is a very important thing to use, like for instance, confidence. So how do you change your state? How do you up that state or change it? And you can do this with a thought, but the most effective way is physiologically. So first, recall a time that you actually did feel confident. Let's just take confidence because this is a huge one and we all want to feel more confident, okay? You want to remember a time you felt confident. Now, I don't mean like, oh, you felt good. I mean like you felt on top of the world, like the world was your oyster. People were cheering you on. You did this thing that you didn't even think that you could do. It was so hard and you did it anyway. Like you feel so good about yourself. Like even me thinking about it, my chest comes up. I take a big deep breath and I'm like, oh yeah, confidence. I'm like opening myself up. That's what you want to do. You want to get so immersed in this time that happened. And what you can do is you can put a circle or like an imaginary square on the ground. And you can walk around it and just recreate the time that you felt so confident. Like for me, I climbed the Grand Teton. Now I climbed the Grand Teton with my husband at the time, and we did a lot of alpine climbing, trad climbing, and I would usually follow. I wouldn't lead. I would lead some of the easier pitches, but not the harder stuff. Not that I couldn't, but I just didn't. He did. And so we hike up to the saddle of the Grand, if you've ever done it. and it's high altitude. And that morning we get up, it's still dark, and we hike to the base of the mountain. This is like 1,000-foot climb that we're doing today. That day, see, I'm in that state. I'm like putting myself in that time period. And what happens is he doesn't feel very good. He kind of has altitude sickness. And he says, hey, I don't feel very good. How about you just lead? Because the like 5'9" was about, I don't know, 2 or 3, maybe 5 pitches up. And so I say, okay, and we keep going. And so every time he says, I'll do the next one, but he doesn't. We get to the hard one, and he's like, I don't feel good. Can you just do it? And I was like, oh my gosh, can I do this? I've never done this outside before. When I say outside, like in the mountains, you're already halfway up the Grand Teton. Okay, so I do it, and of course I do it. I've done it lots of times, you know, and I can do this, and I just keep going. Now, leading takes way more mental presence, way more physical stuff, like that, the nerves, and so I get to the top, and by the top it's just like scrambling pitches, but I'm so tired. He's like, just keep going, you can do it, you know. And I push myself, and we get up there, and we get up before it starts raining. You know, like afternoon, it always rains in the mountains. You want to get off the mountain before that happens, because you do not want to be on top of the mountain where a lightning storm happens. So we get up there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just led the entire XM route of the Grand Canyon, you know, like by myself. I didn't have anyone else leading it. And we get up, we finally get down back to our camp at like 10 at night. We're the last people that actually get off the mountain and don't have to sleep there. And the feeling that I felt, like I felt so accomplished. I was like, oh my gosh, like I did this thing I didn't think I could do. Like that feeling inside of my body, even thinking about it now, I can feel it physiologically inside of myself. I can breathe that in. So going into that state, I put, you know, so now I have it in my mind, but how do I lock it into my body so that any time when I need to be confident, I can then recall at an instant notice, just with the thought, the same physiological feelings. So I put a little imaginary square on the ground, and I start walking around, and I start describing that day. It was a beautiful day. It was warm. I'm sitting on the cliff, you know, having him come up, and as I'm sitting there, I'm feeling the wind. And what was I wearing? I was wearing a purple shirt, and I was wearing khaki pants. And what did it feel like? What did it smell like? What were the words? What was the sounds? Like, what are all the sensations, the physical sensations? And I just walk until I've presenced that moment so much into my mind that I feel it in my body, and then I step in. When I step in, I should have got a freaking whatever. I grab my wrist. I'm like grabbing my wrist, and confidence. Now I have confidence. I'm locking it in so that anytime when I need confidence, I can be like, confidence. And I get back into that place with me climbing the Grand, having climbed it, having accomplished this like freaking amazing thing that I never even thought I could do, and I did it, and I did it awesomely, and I survived. And not only did I survive, but I did an amazing job, like getting that confidence. If I can do that, I can do anything. I can do hard things. And so see, I'm like in the state right now. I'm like feeling so good about myself because I'm recalling this super awesome time in my life, and this feels good. I can do this with anything. I can do this with anything that I need more of in my life. It's not recreating it. It is, in a sense, I'm recreating it right now, but it's more of pulling up something that I already have inside of myself and locking it in, and then when I need that thing, getting it. So how do you just create a state change on the fly? Now, we can have a thought about something, but bringing in your physiology is the most, it's the easiest way to literally change your physiology, okay? Stand up straight, lift your chest, take a deep breaths. What that's gonna do is it's gonna tell your body that that you feel good, because that's what you do when you feel good, even though you don't feel good, and then your mind will respond to your brain. It's the same thing when they say smile. When you smile, you automatically feel better. So using your physiology to create state changes in your body, and play with this. It's super fun to do, to create those situations and then bring them up and lock them in. Very, very powerful technique. So to recap, what you want to do is you want to bring up the time that you felt this, the emotion or state that you want to recreate in your life, that you need more of in your life. Okay, you want to bring that up. You want to then presence it so much in your vicinity. That's why you have the square, because you're bringing that, all that energy, and you're putting it into the square. As you walk around, you're putting it into the square. And then when it's time, when you're like feeling it, you jump into that square, you get your wrist and you lock it into your body. And then anytime that you want to recall that energy, you bring it in. So love, love, love you. Love, love, love me. If you like this video, click and subscribe, and have an awesome, awesome day.